Anybody else? They're very upset that Geno Jennings came to Greensboro. I think many of them are actually glad that we're doing this because they're sick and tired of this game, just another group of individuals taking the money. Okay, I'm going to switch gears here now. Now, y'all, it's very important to us that we be fair, and we want you to see us be fair. Now, you're probably not going to, I'm not going to say that you're probably not going to. It's very likely that you may be confused at this point, but I want you to realize that in the churches of Christ, the body of Christ across the nation, we have these schools that are parading around and trying to pretend that they are Christian schools. There's no such thing as a Christian school. What does that mean? How do you actually convert a school to Christianity? How do you have a school believe and become a Christian? See, these are entities that are basically money-making entities that are trying to pretend that they're a Christian whatever. I don't even know why they would even try this. Now, the segment that you're watching is called Grave Era Freed-Hardeman Lectures. Freed-Hardeman is in Henderson, Tennessee. Several years ago, you saw us go down to Henderson, Tennessee, and we had a big banner that said FHUnudeart.com. And we put it out on a big U-Haul trailer during the same time frame. U-Haul truck. Put a big old banner out there, and we had the president of Freed-Hardeman's face on the banner, and you had David with a stone, and he was swinging it, and it was going to hit David Shannon, who is the president of this monstrosity. This is actually Oklahoma Christian, by the way. We're going to get to it. He was slinging a stone at David Shannon during the lectureship having to do with their art program. And the stone wasn't a stone. It actually was this little small thing that you could see on the banner very well inside the truck. It said PDF. What's a PDF? Let me tell you, a PDF is a powerful thing, especially when it ends up containing the 80 pages of the most atrocious things that you can think of for a Christian. The college is not a Christian, the school's not a Christian, but the people who go to that school claim to be Christians, and their parents think that they're being educated by Christians. But that art book was filled with atrocious filth, nudity, bestiality, stuff that associated with food, nudity involving food. What? I mean, seriously, why in the world would you even have anything like that and have a program like that? What did they do? They changed the book. Now, what are we doing now? We're talking about these folk. Now listen, y'all, I am very, very concerned about this, and the reason why I'm concerned is what I just showed you. This is all-out spiritual warfare, and casualties are the result of what you're seeing here. Casualties. Your children going to a school that is not in any sense a Christian college, is not a Christian atmosphere, and the individuals that are teaching in it are not faithful Christians. Now, there's some people over in Kentucky right now, if they're watching, and they actually have the last name Brothers. If they're watching, they're just cringing because they're saying, Johnny is putting out our dirty laundry. Listen, your dirty laundry is in front of everybody. What does that mean? Well, let me just show you what you can find on the internet if you start looking at Oklahoma Christian. Now, y'all, this is some time back. I'm saying this is not today. Today is worse. I'm looking at Oklahoma Christian, and it says, even during our economic downturn, our numerical growth has not taken any major hits. Well, how is it that your numerical growth hasn't taken any major hits? There are plans underway to increase the master's degree offerings in several areas of demand. We have plans to increase the theological library holdings. We have plans to raise scholarship funds for both Church of Christ and non-Church of Christ students. Make me sick. You don't call people Church of Christ. There is no such thing as a single Church of Christ person. This is sectarianism gone to seed. The members of the body of Christ are called members. The members of the Church of Christ are called Christians. When you talk about single individuals, you don't sectarianize it like the denominations do and call themselves Baptists. I'm a Baptist. Well, you're a Church of Christ. No, I'm not a Church of Christ. I am a Christian. In the New Testament, we basically are calling ourselves, after how the Bible taught, we're calling ourselves Christians. Acts 11:26. You'll see this. Acts 11:26 on my screen. Look at that. And they were called Christians first at Antioch. Let me get this right. Y'all hang on the phone. Let me get this right. Acts 11, verse 26. Caller, you just hang
Hello?
on a minute, and I'll get to you. Try to. Acts 11, 26. What happened? They called the
Hello?
disciples Christians at Antioch. Yes, what can I do for you? Quickly.
Hello?
Yes, you're on live.
Okay, I don't understand why you showed the picture of the guy shooting the guy in the head in Vietnam.
Okay, I don't care if you understand it or not. Listen, it's a casualty. It is a picture that is famous for the casualties associated with people in Vietnam. If you don't understand it, just basically sit back and watch the show. We're not actually trying to educate you on what happened in Vietnam. We're not letting you talk about your problems in Vietnam, none of that stuff. What are we doing? We're showing the behavior of Oklahoma Christian. What are they doing? We're going to give scholarship funds to who? Non-Church of Christ students. Oh yeah? Hey, tell your friend. Watch this broadcast. It'll have a title in it, Grave Era, and it'll have something to do with Oklahoma Christian. It'll probably say OCU. And what are they doing? OCU is trying to become a sectarian entity. Well, they're already a sectarian entity. Well, then what are they trying to do? They're trying to make it worse. What are they doing? They're going to give diplomas. The theological seminary, is that what we're saying? MA degrees offering several areas of demand. We have plans to increase the theological library holdings. In the next sentence, we're having plans to raise scholarship funds for both. Seriously, see that? Are you giving scholarship funds to people who are sectarian, and are you going to give them a diploma in Bible? Is that what's going to go on? Okay, here we go. Now, here is where we are. I am asking the question tonight. Here's the question, grave error question. How many actual Pepperdine speakers are on Freed-Hardeman lectures this year? Well, I have here a brochure that I'm putting up in front of you of an individual that is actually on the Freed-Hardeman lectureships. Now, y'all, you're just going to have to bear with me. If this guy's talking about Vietnam again, we're just going to let him go. When we let people go, that's the sign that you're basically been let folk go from.
I'm sorry, but you're very...
Okay. All right. I'm not sorry. We don't have time for that. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Dale Maynard. Where is Dale Maynard? Look at this. Who's he with? Jeff Walling, Tom Albright, Mike Cope, LaGard Smith, Leonard Allen, John Allen Chalk, Steve Lemley. It just is simply amazing. When you get over here to this side, he's actually on with several different individuals, but Jeff Walling and Rick Atchley, Mike Cope, that should be enough. LaGard Smith, that should be enough for you to actually see what is going on. Well, where's Dale Maynard? Dale Maynard is on the Freed-Hardeman lectures this year. And y'all, that is something that needs to be talked about. Other individuals on that same program that he was on in 1992 were Rubel Shelley, Sylvia Rose, Prentice Metter, Oliver Howard, David Davenport, Royce, and Pam Money. Royce Money was running ACU. He was one of the ones that turned it into the worst sectarian school that we actually had at that time. Here's Oklahoma Christian. Now, why are we talking about Oklahoma Christian? Well, I want you to basically see what's going on in Oklahoma Christian. And just not too long ago, this was 2013, Phil Brookman, Jerry Rushford, Missy Robertson, and a cappella. Missy Robertson is Duck Dynasty. All right, let me raise this up so you can actually see what's going on. 63rd Oklahoma Christian University Lectureships, noteworthy keynote speakers. Who are they? Missy Robertson, Duck Dynasty. And then you drop down and you start seeing individuals like Keith Lancaster. He basically the founder of a cappella. Then you have Phil Brookman and Jerry Rushford. Who is Jerry Rushford? Jerry Rushford is the director of Pepperdine Lectures for 32 years. Who is Phil Brookman? He is the preacher at Memorial Road where all this is taking place. And what does that have to do with Freed-Hardeman? Are you here with me tonight? I'm saying, are you with me? I'm fixing to move out the way so that you can be with me. Edmond Church of Christ, Edmond, Oklahoma. Well, who's at Edmond, Oklahoma? Listen, if you're a member of the Church of Christ and you don't know who is at Edmond, Oklahoma, at the Edmond Church of Christ, you're under a rock. You need to do some research. Phil Sanders, Search for the Lord's Way. Well, who else is at Edmond Church of Christ? Phil Brookman was there December 29th with the youth, 2021. How many times has Phil Brookman been on Pepperdine? You need to research that because Phil Sanders is on the Freed-Hardeman lectures, has been on the Freed-Hardeman lectures. How many times? And Phil Brookman comes over to the church where Bill Sanders is. I'm saying, y'all, wake up. Phil Brookman, Pepperdine speaker, just all over the place, inviting Jerry Rushford, who runs the lectureship. He's retired now. Mike Cope runs it now, but still, it's just like, seriously. Well, what does that have to do with anything? Polishing the pulpit is coming up next, and guess what? Many of the speakers are actually moving over. Here's Phil Brookman on Pepperdine in May of 2018. Here's Phil Brookman on Pepperdine, May of 2017. Here is Randy Harris at ACU. And this is September 16th, 2018. We moved from Phil Brookman, yes we did, to Randy Harris, who is actually on ACU 2018. Randy Harris, can you see that? Randy Harris is on the 2015 Harding Lectures. And what's the date? September 24th, 2015. Look at this. Randy Harris is on the Pepperdine Lectures, May of 2015. Are you following me? September, he comes over to Harding University. May, he was on Pepperdine, same year. What does that mean? The dude is a denominational sectarian sympathizer. They use all kinds of people that are actually women preachers, mechanical music, the Christian church, people like Max Lucado, the famous wannabe Baptist. What in the world? You might say, Johnny, you're really going fast. I am. This is a precursor to what is to come. And I could just keep going on with Noel Whitlock. Who is Noel Whitlock? He's going to be on the Freed-Hardeman Lectures. Where's Noel Whitlock been? The 70th annual lectures at Pepperdine. I just don't know what to tell you. 3 minutes to go. Look at this. Noel Whitlock. There he is. What's he doing? He's on Freed-Hardeman Lectureship. Where's he been? Where has he not been? He's been on Pepperdine. Now, let's drop down here and let's see. Denny Petrello. Well, what about Denny Petrello? Well, I have a letter from Denny Petrello that was sent to me by a good friend of mine that Denny Petrello was trying to basically run Caleb and I down to when we were talking about things going on in our brotherhood. And look at what Denny Petrello says. You'll see this again. I'm not in fellowship with Pepperdine at any level. Yet, using their definition, mine and Caleb, members of the faithful Church of Christ, including B.J. Clarke, who wrote this book and is also on Freed-Hardeman Lectures this year. B.J. is involved in this book, What a Fellowship, and he basically says the exact same thing I'm saying right now, and he would definitely rebuke Denny Petrello right here if we were in 1992. I'm not in fellowship with Pepperdine at any level, yet using their definition of fellowship, I am. After all, we, who is that? Bear Valley. We use Stafford North. Stafford teaches at OCU. OCU uses acapella. OCU's acapella is at home. That's their home, is Oklahoma Christian. And acapella has performed at Pepperdine. Thus, Bear Valley is in fellowship with Pepperdine. Even typing that out shows how unbelievably ridiculous this has become. That's not ridiculous. That is so simple. If you're in fellowship with Stafford North and Stafford North's preacher, Phil Brookman, is a regular on Pepperdine, you are in fellowship with Pepperdine. You don't in any way reprove, you don't question Stafford North, you just let him be on your master's program until he quit because of the pressure that we put on him. Jay Lockhart also. And so, folks, what are we doing tonight? Where are you, by the way? You are on What Does the Bible Say? We are a broadcast that is taking the struggle out to the streets and to the masses, and we're also telling people what's going on in the Church of Christ. I hope that you will tell someone about this broadcast. It's apostolics on the decline, and it is grave era. 2 different segments. God bless you. Thanks for being with us. Always ask for it. What's the Bible say?